What did we see in George Floyd? We saw a lot of people get killed. We saw buildings destroyed. We saw towns destroyed, a lot of rioting. In Charlie's death, we had a worship service.
I wonder what your perspective is on the response to Charlie's death. What do you feel about the way that his death has been used by the culture?
It's best summed up by my friend, Pastor Jack Hibbs. He said when he first learned of it, his granddaughter was crying and he was crying. How often do you have a figure, Russell, who is loved by at least 3 generations? A grandchild, a parent, and a grandfather are all crying over someone's death. That rarely happens. And Charlie was the same person off the stage as he was on the stage, except when he was on the stage, he was so confident in what he was saying because he was prepared. But when he was off the stage, his humility was the only thing that exceeded his intelligence. And that's why he was asking people like me and others to mentor him. And it could be hard, Russell, to mentor somebody smarter than you, but not with Charlie, because he was so humble that the few things I knew that he wanted to know, he asked me to teach him because he was so humble. And that's why he was so effective. He was so effective across generations because he was urging the younger generation to grow up. And he was also urging the older generations to actually help the younger generations grow up and to find meaning and purpose in their lives in Christ. That's what he was all about. He was all about Jesus, number one. All the politics stuff was an outflow of his love for Jesus. In fact, he just said about a month ago, politics is peanuts compared to Jesus, because politics is temporary, but Jesus is eternal. By the way, that's one of the biggest differences between the Christian worldview and the Marxist worldview. In the Marxist worldview, they think the state is eternal, therefore the individuals are expendable. In the Christian worldview, the individual is eternal, and therefore the state is ultimately expendable because the state is going to go away. So Charlie knew that, as much as he loved politics, because he knew that politics affected policy and policy affected people. And as a Christian, he had to be concerned with people. As much as he loved that, his first love was Jesus.
You've just said that Charlie said that politics is peanuts, and yet there's no question that there's been a political response to Charlie Kirk's death. Here are some examples of that. The many politicians that attended his memorial, the many political and cultural figures that have been critical, condemnatory, and sometimes profane about Charlie. But what interests me mostly is the exploitation, the political exploitation. And that's what I'm curious about. The political exploitation and what that might mean. Anything where one might sense that it is being exploited by anybody to generate hate or to generate momentum.
Right. Well, I think Charlie would appreciate the fact that people now want to be more politically engaged to help people through the law, because the law is a great teacher and the law protects innocent people from evil when it's done properly. It also hurts people when it's done improperly, when bad laws are put into place. So I don't think Charlie would in any way be upset with people saying, look, we need to vote more conservatively to protect innocent people from evil. That's the purpose of government anyway. You know, as James Madison famously said, if men were angels, no government would be necessary. We wouldn't need a government if we all acted in an angelic way. We only need a government because we're fallen. And we need a government to punish wrongdoers and therefore protect innocent people from evil. If the thing that I find troubling about some exploitation, Russell, is this. There are people on the left who call themselves progressive Christians, and they're out there saying, okay, yeah, we saw that a lot of people were preaching the gospel and a lot of people were praising Jesus, but beware of conservative politics that flows from this. Instead of these people saying, I'm rejoicing that the word of the Lord is getting out to the biggest audience probably in history, these people are worried that their political position may not win the day now because of this, which shows me that Jesus is not number one to them. Politics is number one to them.
Comet is a new AI-powered web browser from Perplexity. Let me ask you something. How much time do you spend every day on a web browser? How much time do you spend clicking around online, searching, scrolling, typing, endless tabs? It's a lot, isn't it? Well, stop it. Comet will do that for you. Using Comet feels like having a personal assistant living in your web browser that can actually do things for you across the internet. Yeah, do things, not just give you answers. For example, you can ask Comet to handle tasks and it literally clicks, types, searches and scrolls just like you would, getting things done for you in the background while you go about your day. Comet can shop for you, make reservations, book travel, summarize articles or videos, send emails, schedule meetings and a lot more to make your lifestyle easier. Comet don't just give answers, it gets things done. Pretty cool, right? Download Perplexity's new AI web browser, Comet, by heading to pplx.ai/brand and let your browser work for you. There's a link in the description. Even better than that, if you download Comet right now, you will get 1 month on Rumble Premium for free. That means you'll get my additional content, Stephen Crowder's, Glenn Greenwald's, Dave Rubin's, Tim Paul's, all of those people for free. So this is the perfect time for you to get Comet. Get yourself your own digital personal assistant who will do stuff for you. It's going to be brilliant. You're going to get on with that guy. Don't fall in love with it. How is the culture going to use this to exert more control and create more division? If we remain true, faithful, if we follow the line of Christ here, it can only create love. Not to say that we won't be haunted and tormented and damned, but it will only create love if we're doing what we're instructed to do.
Russell, take a look at the response to Charlie's death versus the death of George Floyd. What did we see in George Floyd? We saw a lot of people get killed. We saw buildings destroyed. We saw towns destroyed, a lot of rioting. In Charlie's death, we had a worship service. There couldn't be a starker difference between the things of God and the things of Satan, because Satan came to kill, destroy, and steal, as Jesus put it. He said, Jesus said about Satan that he's a liar and a murderer. And the cultural fallout of George Floyd has been division. I'm praying the cultural fallout of Charlie Kirk will be the kingdom growing and growing more and more. You're always going to have adversaries. Not everybody's going to agree. But I pray that the kingdom continues to grow and that people who are on the left see the beauty of Christianity. And as you did, you repented and accepted the free gift of salvation that Christ has provided. Christians need to care about people in every area of their lives. We're to be Christians not only at church, but also at work and also at home and also online and also in the voting booth. Everywhere we're supposed to be Christians. We're supposed to be salt and light. We're supposed to love our neighbors. And Charlie wanted to put those two things together. He wanted to eradicate this false idea that only the atheists are supposed to run the country. I don't know where we got that idea from, Russell, but somehow we got that idea.
Secularism.
Yeah,
it comes from secularism.
Yes, and it's silly. The whole separation of church and state thing, it has been misunderstood. What that means is we don't want the Pope to be the president. We don't want the governments to be the same. But that doesn't mean that Christians ought not be involved in influencing the government or even serving in the government, because we want to put laws in place that protect innocent people from evil. And Charlie was all about that. He knew the importance of government, but it wasn't as important as the gospel. And that's why Jesus was always number one to him. Everything flowed from Jesus with Charlie.
Thanks for watching the video. Have a look at this one over here, or join us Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday on Rumble.